Does this decision give NAMB power that it was never really meant to have?
Well, I think it not only gives NAMB, it gives every Southern Baptist entity power, because the ruling at this point, unless it's appealed and overturned, has set a precedent. And it's a precedent not only for NAMB and Dr. McCraney, but even to a local church. NAMB gives loans through the Send Network. I'm not sure how all that works, so let me say that, but they give loans to churches, church plants. They even supply dollars for church planters, and this court ruling says that those church plants aren't independent, are not autonomous.
Well, and how does that relate, Tom? Let me ask you to unpack this a little bit more. How does that relate not just to the church plants that NAMB is funding, but in this particular case with McCraney, it was a state convention that they were unhappy. They were unhappy with what was going on. There was a back and forth, but McCraney has documented his request, making various requests of the North American Mission Board in writing, and has even sought to try to work this out in a just dialogue to try to meet and work that out. And they've repeatedly refused to do that, even though they have said publicly that they sought to do that. But that apparently is not the case at that point. So, Tom, how does this impact other state conventions, maybe associations, maybe even churches that have received some type of a gift, some type of a fund, maybe a check for $1,000 to do a project or whatever from the North American Mission Board? How is this potentially impact those churches that NAMB is contributing to and having some type of a partnership?
I'll use a little humor. The golden rule, those that have the gold rule. And when it comes to the entities you mentioned, if NAMB specifically, but I will use all the other entities also, but if NAMB has given and is giving money to association, church, state convention, as we know they are, and they should be. So that's not a debate. They should be. This says they have authority over that money, and they have authority over the leaders. Because that's, as we weave back through the case, which we'll not go into, that's what happened with Dr. McCraney.
Yeah, the arguments are about governance, that they have the right to govern. They have the right to have influence in this totally separate autonomous organization, whether it be a state convention, an association, or a local church, potentially. That's what the fear is, if I'm not mistaken. Would you guys agree with that? Am I stating that right?
Yeah, I think you've stated it appropriately, and it's a challenging concept, challenging topic, because there's always been cooperation. That's why the word cooperative program is so meaningful and so wonderful, because we voluntarily cooperated together for the purpose of missions and education. And, that, to me, a whole nother topic, but that's much in danger. And this court ruling raises the bar on that from a negative perspective.
Yeah, I think many churches, at least from those I've talked to, pastors and leaders, and even some lay people who have said, hey, I don't want to give a penny of my money to the North American Mission Board until they're transparent about the monies that are being used, how they're spending money. There's a lot of questions about that.